Magic money computers and the war in Gaza is back on. It's 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV. 5 things you need to know in about 10 minutes for Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. I'm Derek Gilbert. Item number 5 today, magic money computers. Elon Musk says his Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, has found magic money computers that make payments out of thin air. Musk sat down with Senator Ted Cruz for an episode of Cruz's podcast recorded at the White House. Cruz said, "One of the things you told me about is what you call magic money computers. So tell us about it, because I never heard of that till you brought it up." Musk said, "Okay, so you may think like the government computers all talk to each other, they synchronize, they add up what funds are going somewhere, and that they're coherent, that the numbers you're presented as a senator are actually the real numbers." Cruz says, "One would think." Musk, "One would think. They're not. I mean, they're not totally wrong, but they're probably off by 5 or 10% in some cases. So I call it magic money computer. Any computer that can make money out of thin air, that's magic money." Cruz, "So how does that work?" Musk, "It just issues payments." Cruz, "And you said there's something like 11 of these computers at Treasury that are sending out trillions in payments?" Musk replied, "They're mostly at the Department of the Treasury. Others are at the Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of Defense." Musk, quote, "We've now found 14 magic money computers. They just send money out of nothing," end quote. Nice work if you can get it. Musk said that DOGE will probably save American taxpayers about $1 trillion by the end of fiscal year 2026. Topic number 4, eggs. As long as we're speaking of money, Democrats just had their egg-related misinformation and disinformation against President Trump scrambled. See what I did there? As new USDA data reveals a third consecutive week of price declines at supermarkets. Eggs, the prices are dropping. This follows President Trump's recent countermeasures to stabilize prices and the national supply of eggs after the Biden-Harris administration culled about 150 million egg-laying hens. In other words, one hen in a flock detected with bird flu, they'd cull the entire flock. And this is what led to the shortage. Price follows supply. And so you cull the supply of eggs and suddenly the price goes up. Well, even ABC News, which is definitely not conservative, had to acknowledge that egg prices are falling. This followed weeks of Democrats and their allies in the media attempting to put the egg crisis on President Trump. You can notice, according to research, this was done by Bloomberg, the number of stories in the corporate media related to egg prices and how it exploded beginning in January 2025. In other words, just after Joe Biden left office, suddenly the media was all over egg prices and how this is President Trump's fault. Well, as you can see, egg prices hit a historic high, $8.17 a dozen back on March 3rd. It's been falling ever since. It's dropped by more than half since then. It's almost as though the previous administration was waging war on America's food supply and then trying to blame the problem on the next president. Wouldn't be the worst thing we've heard about politicians. Topic number 3, the Middle East. The Houthis vowed to strike any American ships that come within 1,000 miles of Yemen's borders. Why? This is because President Trump began an unrelenting series of airstrikes against Yemen. The Iran-backed proxy terror group was hit. This is a photo back there of the capital city of Sana'a. A series of airstrikes began on the capital city over the weekend. The Houthis claim to have attacked the USS Harry S. Truman, which is an aircraft carrier, and its accompanying warships twice within 24 hours, but the missiles didn't come within 100 miles of the U.S. Navy ships. They've now announced a ban on all U.S. vessels passing through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait into the Red Sea. I actually saw somebody on social media asking why we're defending the Red Sea at basically shipping lanes that we will never use. It's like, clearly this is somebody who doesn't look at a map and realize that the Red Sea leads to the Suez Canal, through which a big percentage of global trade is shipped. Like from China to Europe, from India to Europe and to the West. so they don't have to go around the southern tip of Africa. Anyway, this continued on into Monday night, Tuesday morning, and at the same time, early Tuesday morning Israel time, beginning around 2 a.m., Israel began a series of heavy airstrikes in Gaza. The war there getting hot once again as Hamas rejected initiatives put forward by President Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff. They're refusing to return the remaining 24 or so hostages being held in Gaza. Reportedly, some 130 killed in those airstrikes, including a field level commander for Hamas, a security official, and a spokesman for Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Now, of course, the response from the anti-Israel lobby is about what you'd expect. This is genocide, et cetera, et cetera. Ignoring, of course, that with Hamas and those who are chanting from the river to the sea, the supporters of Hamas are actually calling for literal genocide. Even Hamas's own population figures show that more babies have been born since the beginning of the war, October 7th, 2023. More babies born in Gaza than people who have been killed, assuming you believe the official figures coming from the Hamas Health Ministry. It's kind of an odd genocide where the population actually grows during the genocide. And again, I should point out, from the river to the sea, when you think about that, that on its face is genocidal, because how do you make Palestine free from the river, the Jordan to the sea, except by getting rid of all the Israelis? But that's not even the worst of it. In the original Arabic, the words actually mean from the river to the sea, Palestine will be Arab. It's overtly genocidal. So point that out if you've got a family member who's not quite informed on that particular issue. Another social media question that just makes you scratch your head, somebody who's not quite informed. United States President Donald Trump has said he stands shoulder to shoulder with Israel in this fight. And yet, this person on X asked, why is he not willing to stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine in its fight against Russia? Why the double standard? Well, because it's not a double standard. First of all, to state the obvious, Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the Houthis in Yemen, Hezbollah, they do not own nuclear weapons, unlike Russia. They do not have hypersonic missiles, unlike Russia. But beyond that, there's a fundamental difference in mindset in the Middle East and with people of European descent. Russians essentially descend from the Varangians, who were Vikings, okay? We're fundamentally all Europeans there, and we can see best outcomes for our people involve not having the entire place destroyed. The Arab mindset, especially Arab Muslims, Gaza can be completely destroyed, and if at the end of the fight, one Hamas fighter is still standing, they'd call that victory. Now, that may sound stereotypical, like I'm stereotyping, but it doesn't mean it isn't true. Sadly, in that part of the world, in the Middle East, the only language that's truly understood is force. Topic number 2, and that leads to Sharia in Syria. HTS leader, self-declared President Ahmed al-Sharaa, formerly Abu Muhammad al-Jalani, the leader of the ISIS al-Qaeda offshoot that took Damascus from Bashar al-Assad back in December, signed a new declaration of an interim constitution next week. He will be the interim president for the next 5 years. This new constitution enshrines Sharia as the law of the land in Syria. Now, again, remains to be seen how much of Syria he actually controls. They did sign an agreement with the Kurds in the northeast of Syria. The Arabs and the Kurds typically don't get along. HTS is backed by the Turks. The Turks definitely don't get along with the Kurds, so we'll see how this all shakes out. But it does mean trouble for the Alawites in the western part of Syria. As we've been telling you, thousands, as many as 7,000 at least, Alawites and Christians slaughtered by HTS over the last week or so. Thousands of them, as many as 9,000 Alawites, have taken shelter at a Russian air base near Latakia in western Syria since last week. Some of the Alawites who sought sanctuary there now returning home, but many of them still on the Russian air base, wanting protection from Russia from HTS. Again, the situation in Syria, very fluid. Coming up, a sign of the times. You know you're getting older when you see this. I'll explain next on 5 and 10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can support the ministry of Skywatch TV in our continued efforts to share the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the four corners of the world and receive your very own copy of this urgent new work when you order the Mystery of the Red Heifer special offer. Not only does this incredible opportunity include Mondo Gonzalez's new book, The Mystery of the Red Heifer, Israel, the End Times and the Building of the Third Temple, but it also includes the best-selling book, The Rabbis, Donald Trump, and the Top Secret Plan to Build the Third Temple with 5-part television series companion DVD by the late Dr. Thomas Horn. This incredible book with companion DVD uncovers for the first time the mysteries of the Antichrist's rise and his secret plans already in motion to build the abomination of desolation, the event that will trigger the apocalypse. These works reveal the connection between Donald Trump and the Third Temple. Is he Israel's modern-day King Cyrus, chosen by God to oversee its construction? Temple treasures. The recent archaeological discoveries that could reveal the Ark of the Covenant and other relics that tie directly to the construction of the Third Temple. And the abomination of desolation. What it is, why it's coming, and how world leaders are positioning themselves for its arrival right now. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of over $60. Yours now for your donation of only $45, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the Mystery of the Red Heifer special offer right now.
Item number 1 today, yes, the end of an era. Baby boomers, I'll say again, I'm right at the tail end of the baby boom, are seeing that as we age out of the time of our lives where we can actually enjoy the muscle cars of our youth, that the market for classic muscle cars, the old Chargers, GTOs, Corvettes, Trans Ams, things like that, the market for those classic muscle cars is crashing as boomers age out. Gen X, rarely. Millennials, Gen Z, almost never want to pay big money for a 1960s muscle car, or clunker, as this person on X posted. Millennials and Gen Xers posted some interesting comments in reply to this post on social media. For example, my 2020 Kia minivan can go about as fast as a 1970s muscle car, and it's about 10 times safer to drive. And it's about 8 times the cargo space. So why would my family want a muscle car? Just wait for the EMP, kid. Wait for the EMP. You'll come crawling back. This week on Skywatch TV, we're talking about the red heifers. You've heard the story. We talk about it periodically here, that were bred in Texas, transported to Israel just over a year ago. And the question is, what does it all mean? Mondo Gonzalez, host of Prophecy Watchers, joins us this week to talk about his new book, The Mystery of the Red Heifer. You can watch the program over the air. Our broadcast schedule is posted at skywatchtv.com/channels. But we will broadcast on your schedule. Add the Skywatch TV channel to Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, if you've got that. And we will broadcast when you click the remote. In fact, even these daily news updates will be there. You can find links to those places where you can get the channel added to your set-top box at skywatchtv.com/app. You can also watch us over the internet, youtube.com/@skywatchtelevision. Subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit that like button, or rumble.com/skywatchtv, or better yet, download it to your smartphone or tablet, our free mobile app, that is, and that brings all of our video content right into your handheld device, whether it's a phone, tablet, iOS, Android, Amazon Kindle Fire. We've got apps for all of those. And again, go to the website, skywatchtv.com/app. Follow 5 in 10 online. You'll find us on X at 5_in_10 and on YouTube at 5 in 10. Please subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, and hit that like button. And thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.